Hey everyone, just a quick reminder before the show to do our sponsorship survey when you have a minute. It'll really help us find the best sponsor for our audience and help the show grow and become better. Thanks a lot and appreciate it. Also, don't forget to join us on our social medias, and if you'd like to be a guest, remember, email us at pod.fandoms@gmail.com. Enjoy the show. You're listening to Fandoms. I'm your host, Brody Otway. Join me as I interview a guest about anything from DNA to MMA. Today on the show, we're talking again with SilenceAve about MMA.
Hey man, how you guys doing?
Glad to have you back. So, what is MMA exactly for somebody who has no idea?
Just like it's in the name, mixed martial arts. It's just a collection of, jujitsu, you have judo, all the different types of martial arts in the world. You have like specifically kickboxing, you have wrestling, just kind of everything. Boxing.
And is there any martial arts that aren't allowed in it?
I'm not entirely sure. I don't think so. I think you might have some like maybe some really violent stuff that would be illegal when it comes to rule sets, but I don't think there's any one martial art that's specifically just banned from like MMA competitions.
Yeah, so for somebody who's never somehow seen like a UFC fight or something, basically it's different from boxing in the sense that you can grapple, you can grab, you can do more than just throw punches, kicks.
Absolutely.
And how did you first get into MMA? What was your first exposure to it?
My first exposure to it, there were a couple instances. The earliest I can remember is being at an Alouettes game and GSP being in the crowd. And I had no idea who GSP was. But George St. Pierre, for those of you who don't know, he's a Canadian mixed martial artist.
Yeah, from Quebec, right?
Yeah. And for him to be there and I had no idea who he was, I started looking stuff up about him afterwards. And that was my first real exposure. But when it comes to like the kind of first fight that got me hooked, it was maybe Dan Hooker versus Dustin Poirier.
Oh, deadly. Yeah, I think the fight that really got me hooked on MMA, at least as an adult, I couldn't tell you when I was in high school what the fight was, but the thing that got me back into it recently was going back and watching the first season of Ultimate Fighter and the very last fight with Forrest Griffin and
Stephen Bonner, rest in peace.
Yeah, fuck, that fight was like, oh my God, it was fucking amazing. Like, I literally went out of it. I was like, okay, like Forrest Griffin has to get a contract. Like I know he's famous. I had not heard of Stephen Bonner beforehand, actually, but yeah, I was a little bit sad to find out he passed away.
Yeah, we've lost a couple good ones, man.
Yeah, and I just remember like when I was young, like the big guy was Chuck Liddell. Like he was the shit when this my buddy Kyle, who got me first introduced to mixed martial arts, he was obsessed with the guy. And I had only really known about boxing and stuff. I had watched boxing with my grandfather and stuff, and I was pretty good at boxing. Me and I had two older brothers, so I kind of learned to throw down, and it was pretty interesting when I first, like, he taught me how to do some arm bars and stuff like that, and he kind of regretted it because as soon as he taught me things, I was able to like kick his ass. He was much taller and stuff than me, but I was gifted with some freakish strength for somebody my size. Like I'm 5'8", he was at least 6 foot, and like the guy had a lot of reach on me. He wasn't the best fighter. Sorry, Kyle. Did you ever participate in MMA at all, or are you just like a fan of like watching the sport?
I did jujitsu when I was younger for a little while, but we ended up pulling out of it. I think because I don't know, there was some issue that happened. I don't even remember. I was way younger, but yeah, a lot of people from that dojo like just stopped going. It was very weird.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, I think the owner was just a prick. I don't know.
Oh yeah, no, I live next to like MMA gym in my town, and like I think it's mostly for children because everyone I see coming out of there is a kid. So I'm like, I kind of want to see if like my daughter would be interested in doing it, because like then I have an excuse to go in and learn a thing or two.
Absolutely.
But when I was a kid, I started my martial arts journey with this thing called Little Dragons Karate, and then I quit after I think my first sparring match because I made the kid cry. And I had made this same kid cry in soccer. I accidentally tripped him or something, or he went for the ball at the same time as me, and we ran into each other. I was too young to remember, but I quit soccer because I made this kid cry. I quit every sport as a child, and then I did karate and I made the exact same kid cry. And I like walk off to the side and my mom like looks at me. She goes, "No, no, don't quit again, please." I'm like, "I don't want to do this anymore." And she's just like, "Come on, it's the same kid from soccer." I'm like, "Nope, I don't want to. Nope, I heard him. I don't want to do this." And then like years later, like I just ended up in a scrap with a kid, and I guess he went around telling everybody I was a black belt or something because he was like embarrassed he got his butt kicked. I was like the gentle, quiet kid, and like I was strong, but I didn't want to hurt
Yeah.
anybody. And then I accidentally broke a kid's femur by tackling
Oh,
him
fuck.
in a football, or no, he was being a bully and he told me to tackle. I snapped the kid's femur in half by accident, and I was like bawling and he's bawling. I'm like, "How can I help?" And he's like, "Don't touch me." And I'm like, "I'm so sorry." And he was like bullying me and like brought it all on himself and stuff. But like it was brutal. And everybody like went around being like, "Man, he's so strong." And so in high school, nobody ever like wanted to like mess with. There was all these kids who like always wanted to like box strong kids, and then the one kid who I knew would have kicked my ass, like I watched him fight and I was like, "Man, he for some reason was just like, oh, I'm not gonna fight this guy. He's gonna kick my ass. I heard he's a black belt." And all. I'm like, where the fuck did all these rumors come from? Like, what? And it was wild. And
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, no, I'm kind of glad because I like my face not being mashed potatoes. But like, we started we started doing like basement boxing with friends with like gloves and like pads and stuff, and it was fun. And then that was kind of where I got into like MMA from there because my one friend was like, "You're so good at boxing, let's do MMA." And he bought gloves, and I don't know, he was a lot more into it than I was. I think I was still scared to kind of hurt people at that point, and like, I don't know. Everybody always wanted me to do it, but I was always just like, I like to watch it, but like, I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to be hitting people.
No, yeah, 100%.
So, who's your favorite fighter at the moment?
Oh, my favorite fighter of all time, it'll never change, is Dustin Poirier.
Why?
He just goes out there and scraps, man. Like, win, lose, or draw. Like, he goes out there and he puts on a performance every single time. He just recently retired,
Yeah.
and he one of the craziest resumes of all time. Anthony Pettis, Conor McGregor, 3 times, Habib, Charles, Islam. Freaking, in his last, he beat Holloway once, lost. No, beat Holloway twice, lost once, 1-1 with Gaethje. Like, and these are just in the last few years. Korean Zombie too.
Yeah, yeah. You mentioned Habib. My first fight getting back into MMA was actually Habib jumping the cage to go it was McGregor's coach, right?
Yeah, well, it was McGregor's. Just no, it was Dylan
Yeah.
Dennis. That guy's a prick.
Yeah, no, I was just like, man, I haven't watched MMA in forever. I was like, I'm gonna start with this fight, and was watching it, and then watched him jump the cage, and I was just like, what the fuck is
Hmm.
going on? I was like, this is wild.
Absolutely. Like, Habib's great, man. That's a great fighter.
Yeah, he was deadly in that fight, and like I don't know, like they called him on like gripping the cage with his toes and shit at one point, and then I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, McGregor's doing it constantly. Why ain't anybody calling him on it and shit? And I'm like, yeah, no, like he won despite shitty calls against him and shit. I feel like, yeah, I was like, yeah, he won that fight hands down.
I mean, yeah, you don't, like, the one thing I'll give in that fight to like everyone involved, because a lot of people, even he said after the fight, he's like, why don't you just go to sleep? Why did you tap? Right? Because obviously McGregor tapped. He had McGregor in a face crank.
Hmm.
If he didn't tap, he might have broken his jaw. So
Yeah.
he needed to tap there.
Yeah, yeah, fair, fair, very fair. But
You can't go to sleep against a face crank.
right, like yeah, no, like if he wants to keep eating solid food, he had to tap out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's just it blows my mind that like the UFC has no recorded deaths in the ring, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and yet boxing, like people have fucking died in boxing, and you look at the two sports, and you're like, you don't think boxing's the one where they're gonna die. I mean, with the big padded gloves and everything else, and like UFC just looks so much more vicious. But in reality, like I don't know if it's. Do you think it's because like the refs are just like better at making calls, or why do you think they're?
I'm really glad you brought this up because if I'm not mistaken, it was Daniel Cormier who brought this up to like the whole community of why MMA is actually, or like specifically, I guess with the UFC rules, because there are some other MMA organizations which have had like deaths and
Mhm.
stuff or like severe injuries, if I'm not mistaken. And with DC, when he was talking about kind of just the safeties in both sports when it comes to MMA and boxing, is in MMA, if I kick you in the head and you fall to the ground and you take 3 unanswered shots, let's say, I'm going to stop the fight. But in boxing, I drop you once, you have a standing 8 count, or yeah, whatever. I drop you again, another one. Drop you again. So you're taking repeated head trauma over and over.
Oh, I'd never even thought about that. Yeah, fuck.
And you're getting back up. You're getting back up to get hit again. Whereas if you take those kind of shots, fight's over.
Yeah, the incentive is to take those shots.
So, and do that 60 times in your career because a lot of these boxers have crazy amounts of fights.
Mhm.
So eventually you're going to become punch drunk and you're going to get, you're going to get severely injured. It's one of those things.
For somebody listening who isn't familiar with the term, what is being punch drunk?
Basically, if you, let's say you're a fighter and take Justin Gaethje, for example. No offense, Justin, but he's always in wars, right? He's always getting into like these violent scraps. You take enough hits, you start to develop like brain damage, CTE. I don't know what that stands for, but and being punch drunk is basically when you've taken so many punches in your career where you're slurring your words when you speak, you're not all there mentally anymore. And like Nate Diaz is punch drunk.
Okay, that's makes sense.
Continuous damage over a long period of time.
Yeah, so it's where you have like permanent damage from taking too much concussions from blows to the head, basically.
Basically, yeah.
That's wild. Like, and you hear it used in like terms in like songs and stuff like punch drunk love and shit like that. And it's like you throw it around and like I bet like at least half of the people listening probably did not know what it was until you explained it.
Yeah, it's. I'm sure there's a better, like, full, more medically examined explanation, but just you get hit so many times, you're gonna start being loopy, basically.
Yeah, that's wild. So who's a fighter that you're really not a fan of? Is there anyone out there who you're just like, I can't stand this guy?
John Jones.
Why? What's your problem with the guy?
It's more of a problem with him personally. He's not a very good person, but as a fighter, he also spent the last 2 years basically ducking Tom Aspinall, who was the interim champion, rather than fighting. He fought Stipe Miocic instead, who's granted one of the heavyweight greats, might be the heavyweight goat, depending on who you ask. And he was ranked, I think, 8 in the world when they fought, while Tom Aspinall was ranked interim champion, which is an even higher ranking than rank 1. It's This is the guy you need to unify your belt against because you're undisputed champion. He's the interim champion, which makes you the disputed champion because you don't own the entire belt. You have someone out there who has another belt. You have to unify that and see who the real champion is. He spent 2 years ducking Tom Aspinall in favor of fighting a legend fight, which really was just code for I'm terrified of this guy. I'm not going to fight him.
Oh, that shit, that's annoying. Like it you shouldn't be able to just duck out and hold on to like the title. Like you should have to defend it. Like that's
Exactly.
I don't know. I'd be annoyed too. And like I brought up his Wikipedia page at first because I wasn't familiar with it, but seeing his face, I've seen him.
hmm
I know this guy. Yeah, he's like the youngest UFC lightweight champion or whatever.
He's the youngest champion in UFC history.
Wow, yeah. My the guy I worked with before was bitching about him, hard bitching about how he was ducking out of the fights and shit. And yeah, I remember this guy now.
Well, a lot of people consider him the greatest of all time because he never truly lost a fight. Debatable, by the way. Dominic Reyes beat you. uses even a case for Alexander Gustafsson in their first fight. It is what it is. But you cannot be the greatest of all time if you have tested positive for steroids more than anyone else.
Ooh, yeah, that's kind of, yeah, that makes give that all those records get an asterisk if it's like most other sports. It's like,
He had said something when he was on, I think it was Joe Rogan's podcast. He was talking about some like picograms in his system, or like it was something like that. That's what he was saying. But when they did the blood work on him, I think they said his testosterone was that of like someone who's been chemically castrated. It was so bad that there was no possible way he was not on steroids.
that is wild. So like he's just doing so much steroids, like he's basically like chemically castrated himself completely.
Yeah, there was a whole thing with like Chael Sonnen, and he talked about it, where John Jones hid from USADA underneath the octagon for like hours, so that they never found him. That's a rumor. I'm not going to say it is truth, but
That's wild.
he hid from the drug people.
Just under the fucking stadium. The octagon's the stadium for anyone who isn't aware. It's where the two fighters get it. It's the ring they fight in. So he was hiding underneath the ring itself. I can't believe they wouldn't look there. Like,
I think it was in his home gym octagon.
oh, okay. So not in the. I thought you.
No, not in the venue.
Okay, I thought he was like evading them until like they were like, oh, not enough time to do it before the fight, kind of deal.
No. He hid from them until they left, like 8 hours. He was under there for 8 hours.
Jesus Christ! Oh my god. Yeah, no, that's wild. I hope he had something to do under there.
I hope he didn't. I hope he was there by himself.
I mean, true. He deserves it. Yeah. I mean, if I was under there, I'd bring a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, or like I don't know, like fucking tic-tac-toe and play it by myself or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, he's probably doing that in the dust.
Exactly.
So, who do you think are like some of the real legends of MMA or UFC, whichever you want to go with? Like,
Hoist Gracie. Like he's just, when you talk about MMA and UFC, you have to talk about the Gracies
and why is that?
because they just pioneered jiu-jitsu, and they're like kind of like Brazil has a lot of amazing fighters, and they were some of the originals when it came to, like, if I'm not mistaken, Hoist Gracie won UFC one, the first ever, like, he was the first winner of UFC one, if I'm not mistaken. Like,
How long ago was the first one? Like when did the UFC actually like start? It was like 94ish, wasn't it? Or was it earlier than
yeah, I
that?
think so. It's been around for 31 years, I think.
Okay, so yeah, 94. Yeah, same year I was born. I thought that was the case. I did a lot of like when I got back into it, I decided I was going to do one of my episodes on my new show that's coming out, Phantom's Face Off, on the UFC. So I went deep on like researching it for a bit, and I that's how I kind of ended up falling into watching Ultimate Fighter and stuff. I was just like, man, I love this show. Like just seeing guys like Duke, it feels like college sports where like the guys fight just a tiny bit harder because they got that just little bit more to
Yeah.
do because they want to get that contract. I love that extra, like they're not giving it 100%.
Also, shout out to Demetrius Johnson.
Oh,
Demetrius Johnson.
so yes,
He never really got the respect he deserved when he was fighting in the UFC. He got way more of it when he transferred over to one championship, and just kind of in recent years still has the record for most consecutive title defenses with 11. What he did, I don't know if it was against Ray Borg. I think it was against Ray Borg, where he did that kind of flying armbar.
oh, I've seen that clip.
One of the craziest submissions I've ever seen. If you want to talk more about modern legends as well, because obviously you have the Anderson Silvas, who also tested positive for PEDs. So GSP, the GOAT, what's it called? Only times he lost, he got revenge on them against Matt Serra and Matt Hughes. You also had, I think it was Ken Shamrock. Yeah, Ken Shamrock, Chuck Liddell, Rampage Jackson, Rumble Johnson. These are kind of just like a bunch of the older school, like older tier fighters. Don Fry. Like these are just like great fighters from a little bit ago, but you also have some of the greats now, like Habib, even though he retired. I wouldn't say he's even maybe top five because his career just wasn't long enough at the top. Islam Makhachev, Charles Oliveira, most finishes in UFC history. Right now, in the making, right now, we're seeing another superstar getting made. So Ilya Taporia, right now, I'd say is you should watch this kid. He's in his late 20s and he fought his way to the featherweight championship while talking shit the whole time. Like everything, like every time he'd go in there, you'd be like, okay, this guy's, he's going to get fraud checked this time. And he laughed all the way to winning the featherweight championship, defending it, being the first man to knock out Max Holloway, and then moving up to lightweight and knocking out Charles Oliveira for the lightweight champion. He's a double champion right now, 28 years old.
That's awesome.
So we're seeing right now one of what could end up being one of the greatest fighters we've ever seen.
Yeah, it's always exciting getting to see somebody rise up and like start the career. Like it's definitely makes it like I can't even explain it. It's like being part of like a fucking sports movie. Like you get to see the rookie come up and like the underdog actually succeeding, and except for like it's not really an underdog because they're kicking ass. Because like I don't know, I suck at explaining this kind of stuff, but like it's just
It's like when you're watching a movie and the bad guy wins, like he's talking shit the whole time, but you kind of have to be like, he's kind of an asshole, but damn, he's good.
right. Like it's just that a
Yeah,
cocky fighter is always fun when they can back it up, and
they
then it's
get
always
slammed.
extra fun when they get put in their place. Like my favorite moment in Ultimate Fighter was that I cannot remember the dude's name for the life of me, but it was the season one. He like pisses on a dude or some shit, and I was just like, I cannot wait to see this guy get knocked the fuck out. And like he comes back slightly humbled. I was like, damn, they brought him back. And I was like, and I was like, he is like the key like thing I've always thought of like there are people out there who are they think they're tough shit because they never been knocked the fuck out. And then as soon as they get knocked out, they're just humbled.
You have like a not Holly Holm, Ronda Rousey.
Oh, she got shook so hard her mom begged her to quit.
That's why I mentioned Holly Holm. The preacher's daughter just sent her straight to the gallows.
Oh yeah, no. I felt like
Conor McGregor too.
at first when Ronda Rousey lost, I was like, whatever. Like everybody has a loss now and again. And then like I actually watched it and I was like, wow, she got destroyed. And then it came out that her mom asked her to quit because she's like, I don't want to see you get hurt or whatever. And I was just like,
Yeah, the press tour
ooh.
after was not great PR.
Yeah, no, it was brutal. And didn't she quit and do? She's like WWE now.
I think she came back and got slammed by Amanda Nunes.
Okay,
So she came back and got finished again.
she did go to the WWE, didn't she? Am I remember that right?
Yeah, she's back now. She's back there now.
Okay.
After Amanda, she quit again.
Okay, yeah, that I thought I was like, was I imagining that or not? But no, okay, yeah, that's wild that she just got rocked so hard twice that she was just like, hey, yep, no, back going to showman wrestling.
But she is a legend, though. I'd say Ronda Rousey is a legend.
Oh, definitely.
Because of her, women's MMA is a thing. So
yeah, she was the first signed female fighter, right?
Yep.
Yep, there you go. Anybody who ends up doing the fandom's face-off trivia episode, that is a question on there.
But yeah, she was the first ever women's MMA fighter in the UFC and pioneered the sport for a whole lot of women to come up and explore their talents. And we've had some real greats. Amanda Nunes is one of them. Chris Cyborg, I think she's in Bellator. Last I checked.
Yeah, I love women's MMA. Like they throw so much better kicks and stuff than the dudes, honestly. Like every time I see and like they got better hip motion and shit. And like I've seen so many like I was watching it with my ex and we were watching it on my Fight Pass there, and she's like, "Why are you watching women's MMA?" I was like, "Watch it and you'll see." She thought I was
Mhm.
like checking out the girls or something, and then she's like, "Holy shit!" I was like, "Yeah, did you not see that kick? Like, show me a guy who can kick like that." Like that was, I can't even remember who the woman was, but like,
Exactly.
yeah, no, the fights are so good.
I might be able to tell you, was it a one kick knockout recently?
Yes.
Was the woman bald?
No, it would have been like 7 or 8 months ago.
But yeah, so I'm saying like, well,
Okay.
no, because this was a couple of years ago. If she was bald, then the woman she knocked
It
out,
it would have been it was on Fight Pass, so it probably wasn't like super recent to when I was watching it, but
because
it
if
would,
she was
yeah.
bald and the woman she knocked out was
I
Asian,
think she
it could have
was.
been Rose Namajunas versus Zhang Weili.
I don't remember the faces or anything hugely. I just remember the kick, so it very well could have been that
Because
clip.
when she got kicked, she just crumpled back.
Yes, yes, just kick to the face, and the lady who gets kicked just crumple.
Yep,
I was like, "Damn!" I was like, and then I threw on some fights, and she was just like, "Why are you watching women fight?" And I went back to the clip and was like, "That's why I'm watching women fight."
absolutely. I like Rose. I like Rose. She's a nice fighter. She did have one of the worst fights of all time though. Holy! Do not watch Rose Namajunas versus Carla Esparza 2.
Really? Why is that?
If if I wanted to pay to just watch two people look at each other for 25 minutes, I'd watch chess.
Oh God. God, yeah, no, that doesn't sound entertaining at all. That's one thing I love about it is like they typically don't let the fights get boring. Like if like there's nothing going on the
Mhm.
ground, they reset and everything, and like they do a pretty damn good job at keeping it entertaining.
Absolutely. I think like even it was in Israel Adesanya versus Yoel Romero. I'm pretty sure the ref went up to both of them and said, they're paying for the fans are paying for a world championship fight. Give them that. And I don't think they did anyway. I don't remember that fight was such a snooze fest. I watched it one time and never watched it again.
Maybe I'll have to watch it sped up somehow because like that I'm trying to picture it in my head and I'm just like, God, did they just like stand on the opposite sides and just like fake at each other the whole time?
There's one point where Yoel Romero stands still
What the fuck?
and just stands there.
Oh my God. Like
Also, Derek Lewis versus Francis Ngannou.
I don't know how you could do that in front of a crowd. Like I'd be like, everybody's gonna think everyone's gonna think I'm a fucking fraud. Like, what am I doing?
Also, it's a championship fight.
Right? Like, what are you like? I don't know. That just it seems nonsensical. Like, I'm so curious. I need to check this out.
Yeah, like people were saying when the fight ended, like, "Oh my God, Yoel Romero got robbed of the decision," and I'm like, "Who cares?"
Yeah, who cares? They had a staring contest 90% of the time.
Like that, the bigger takeaway for me, rather than the decision, was, "Wow, I'm never gonna care about these fighters again." And I was very wrong because Yoel Romero is 48 years old, and I think just broke some dude's like jaw.
Holy shit!
Like he's still fighting,
Wow. Yeah, no, that's wild.
and he says he wants to keep fighting until he's 52.
What?
Hmm.
Oh, I don't know. Some people just need to learn when to fucking quit. Like,
Yeah, but the crazy thing about Yoel Romero, like a bit of a tangent, like people genuinely think this guy's like a government like experiment. Like they said, I think like he got his like eye cut in a fight, and he went to the doctor and said, "These are the largest tendons I've ever seen in someone's eyes."
what the fuck?
And, like he was in Cuba, he lived in Cuba, and then apparently there was like he was in like the Cuban military. I don't remember. It was like some crazy stuff. Like his nickname is Soldier of God.
They just probably pumped him full of human growth hormones and shit. And we're just like,
Exactly.
you
Like
are a killing
you
machine.
shouldn't be competing like this at 48.
Yeah, that's fucking wild. Like,
You want to go down a rabbit hole? Look up Yoel Romero.
oh my god, I'm going to. This sounds wild. Like I think my Fight Pass just renewed, so like I'm my whole next run at work. I've got a smart TV in my room at work now, and I downloaded the day before I left Fight Pass, Crunchyroll, Netflix, and Disney. I'm like, I am so set next time I get to work.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. So what do you think is a common misconception people have about MMA?
That the fighters are savage, violent people.
Right? Like That's one thing I actually thought before I watched Ultimate Fighter and watched them like interact with each other. And like some of the guys are fucking crazy dicks. Like it's true. But like so many of the guys, like they're just so goofy and fun and like nice dudes. Like Forrest Griffin seems like a dude I wouldn't mind hanging out with, at least in the first season of Ultimate Fighter. Like he seemed like a friendly guy.
Absolutely. He runs the UFC PI, I think now.
That's so deadly.
He runs like the gyms and everything. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that's him. Like if you want to have the most perfect example of somebody who went from like, you could use Dustin Poirier, you could use Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou's story could literally be made into a movie. The guy came from Cameroon. He tried to flee the country many times. He kept getting sent back. He ended up working in like camps and stuff, and he ended up escaping to France, where he became an MMA fighter and became this like global like superstar. And
That's
then you
wild.
have Dustin Poirier, who was who's a juvenile kid. He didn't like he covered in tattoos when he was still a like a teenager, and then through his mixed martial arts career, he transformed from that into a businessman who has charities, family man, and rode off into the sunset with millions of dollars. Like,
Right? And it's so wild to think that like a career of fighting people can turn like into becoming a full on like charitable philanthropist. Like it's not the kind of stuff you think of when you see two guys beating the shit out of each other in a ring, but like
mhm,
you hear about all these like shitty assholes who end up in the news and stuff, and people tend to think like, oh wow, yeah, the CTE causes like psychotic behavior, but then like it's because there's all these other dudes who they're not in the news because they're not like doing crazy ass shit. They're sitting there, like you said, they're like family men and stuff.
exactly. Like you have the most. I really struggle with this guy because he brought this sport to a whole nother level. But Conor McGregor is a bad person, and he's always getting arrested.
Yeah, my buddy, he loves him as a fighter, and he's like, he's a piece of shit though.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna say on your show because I don't know what's allowed on Spotify or what's allowed on, but he was found liable. No, if I'm not mistaken, he was convicted.
We you can, as long as you say allegedly, we can say pretty much whatever. It's an explicit show as long as
Okay,
we're
well, I'll say allegedly just in case, but I'm pretty sure he was convicted of assaulting a woman.
oh, okay, yeah, that I heard about that, and yeah, no, that's yeah, no, never okay, always fucked
Yeah,
up. That's
he was convicted of that. I'm pretty sure in a court of Ireland, allegedly, just in case. And not even just that. You remember that old? He got arrested for smacking that old dude in the bar. He's always partying, drunk, cheating on his wife.
yes, that's that I know about. That one I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, he's just not a great dude in any way, shape, or form.
No,
He is the stereotype of what people assume the UFC fighters are like in their all of them are like in their off time.
exactly. And you should know, as the representative of the sport on a world stage, like when the average person thinks of UFC or MMA, they think of Conor McGregor. So, like, there's even a term for it. Like, if I'm not mistaken, it's like mid casuals.
Yeah, that makes sense because yeah, a lot of people like it's like how when I was in high school, I was saying like everybody, like even though Chuck Liddell was not the best, like everybody knew who he was because he was
He
like
was the Iceman.
they branded him. Yeah, he was on the front of all the game cases. He was literally their face at the time. Like it was
We still love Chuck Liddell.
oh yeah, like
Every time he's at a show, like every time he's at like an event or anything, he gets a huge pop from the crowd.
that's awesome. Like he seems like a good dude. Like I at least like
He still has the mohawk.
that's deadly. That I'm pumped to hear that. That's amazing.
He looks the exact same as he did 30 years ago.
Yeah, that's wild. Like that's what happens when you fucking stay out of trouble. Like no stress, no lines.
Yeah, BJ Penn, that's a whole nother story. BJ Penn, he's been arrested like 3 times in the last month and like now,
For what?
and he thinks his whole family are like clones and government psyops
Whoa, so dude's just, like, losing his shit completely?
because he has so much brain damage.
Yeah, fuck.
Like if you want a good representative of like what CTE can do, that's what it can.
Yeah, yeah, it's wild. I grew up with a guy who liked to fight a lot. Like he like no gloves fighting, and it caught up to him hard. Like dude is like government conspiracy, and it came out of like nowhere. Like he got rocked one day, and then all of a sudden he was like, "Man, like that's the same cop car that we seen earlier. It has the same numbers on the back." And you'd be like, "No, dude, it's not." And then one day he told me, he's like, "I'm part of a secret government program." And I was like, if that's true, you can't come around anymore. I don't want to be involved in your secret government stuff. You know, it could be dangerous to me. And he was just like, yeah, yeah, that makes sense and stuff. And I don't know. I've seen him around a couple times, but he's never tried to talk to me anymore. But it was wild because like was friends with the dude for like 7 years,
Mhm.
and like just over time, like he like went like it's like at first it seemed like he was lying to like make up for like lack of confidence, and then it seemed like the concussions just made him start believing his own bullshit suddenly, and
Take care of your brain, people.
yeah, it turned into like psychosis. Like he literally just like went from like what you could tell was like overcompensating for like lack of confidence into literally believing his own bullshit. And I
Mhm.
was just like, damn, like you need to stop like boxing people, bro, buddy. Like,
You got to take care of your brain, man.
yeah, it was wild. Yeah, I broke a table with that kid's back basement boxing once, so I guess I might be part of the problem.
Especially take care of the back of your head.
He tried to like flying Superman punch. He like jumped up and tried to like downward Superman punch me, and I like moved out of the way in midair. I clocked him in the face, and he fell into a table and broke it. And I like panicked and looked at the guy whose basement it was, and I was about to apologize, and I was like, "I'm so sad." And he's like, "That was awesome," and I was like, "I'm sorry I broke your table." He's like, "Yeah, my mom's gonna be pissed, but that was cool." And then I looked, I was like, "Are you okay?" And he gets up and he was just like, "What the fuck happened?" And I was like, I kind of broke a fucking table with you, dude. And yeah, no, we did a lot of basement boxing. It probably wasn't great for our brains.
Yeah, no, I've been in a couple fights, and I realized very quickly, I'm like, this isn't what I want to do.
Yeah, no, I've only ever punched one person out of anger, but like other than that, it's always been like casual for funsies boxing because like I said, like I'm always free. Like the one time I punched a guy, so he was like coming up to my one buddy and trying to convince him to rob a local store, and eventually I just lost my shit because I was like, "Hey, just leave us the fuck alone," and I swung on him, and he like pulled back, and I skinned his cheek, and I ended up chasing him to the front doors of our school because I was just seeing red. And the vice principal was like watching, and he's on his phone, and he's seen the first swing, and he literally turned around and pretended he didn't see it. And I chased him to the front doors, and he goes in, and I guess the actual principal seen me chase and swing on him again. But the vice principal calls me in, and he goes, "Look, dude, like I literally turned around. Like, why the hell did you chase him?" I was like, "I'm sorry. I was pissed." Then he's like, "What the fuck happened?" And I explained. He's like, "God damn." He's like, "I know that kid's a piece of shit. Like, he's in trouble with the police all the time. The police are going to come talk to you." And I was like, "Okay, fine." And like, the police came and talked to me, and they're like, "Look, you're not going to get in trouble. We know the kid's a piece of shit. We deal with him all the time. But like, don't hit people." And then I'm like getting ready to leave at the end of the day. I got suspended and stuff, and I'm leaving. And my buddy comes up to me and they go, "Did you see his face?" And I'm like, No, why?" And he's like, "His cheek is swollen over his eyebrow." I was like, "There's no way. I skinned his cheek." He's like, he's like, "I seen, but like you fucked him up." And then like I go and I sneak around the bus line and I sneak a peek at him. And like, yeah, that was the moment where I was like, yeah, I was right to have never wanted to hit somebody, because like if that's what I can do to that kid by not hitting him full on like I had planned, I'm scared what I would have done to his fucking cheek if I actually cranked him.
Yeah, no. For me, it's more of a me thing. I don't want to get punched in the face because I don't want to have my teeth break. I'm dental injuries are like my biggest phobia.
Yeah. Oh no, no. I had wisdom teeth pulled out, and it was awful. And I'm like, yeah, no, I want to keep the rest of you guys. Like the oh yeah, no, I have
Yeah,
nightmares of
like
like them falling out and stuff. It's teeth and fingernail stuff in like movies. Oh, that
mhm.
makes my skin crawl. I hate seeing fingernails pulled or teeth pulled out. Those are I can deal with any other kind of like gore and stuff in movies, but those things make me cringe.
No, dude, like there was a an incident that happened with one of my friends, and it was not a fight. He just fell really hard because he tripped
Ooh.
and he slammed his face on a desk,
I seen someone chip a tooth doing that.
and he was on the ground, just blood pooling out. I'm like, did my boy just die? Like, and what's it called? No, he was fine, but I think his braces cut into his lips.
Ooh, yeah, I've seen someone cut their lips on their braces before. It lips
Hmm.
bleed so
Like
much.
I'm not, and I'm just like, nope, absolutely not. This is why, for me, I want to have a boxing fight. I don't want to do MMA, but I want to have one boxing fight in my life just to experience it, right? Like a full blown, like maybe amateur fight. But I'm like, I don't want to get my teeth broken.
Right? Like in like a mouth guard only does so much. Like it's more like people think, oh, it's going to protect your teeth. No, it's going to more protect you from concussions. Your teeth will still get knocked loose.
It's also to stop your teeth from shattering against each other.
Right? And like it's not going to stop them from getting knocked out hugely. It's not gonna like it's a little bit of protection, but it's a lot more protection of like it's a safeguard against concussion
Yes.
slightly, if I'm not mistaken. And to yeah, like you said, so your teeth don't grind.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's so your teeth don't break against each other if you get hit. And like for me, nope, absolutely not.
Mhm.
I would be the most like pussy fighter of all time, just like leaning back as far as I could. I don't want to get hit in the teeth. Punch me in the head.
Yeah, no, whenever I got into a scrap with my brother when me and him were boxing, he bloodied me up real good one time, but I was an idiot and I wasn't giving in and I was bleeding from my earlobe, my nose, and I was bleeding good. And he's just like, give up. And I was like, nope, nope. And then he was huffing and puffing, and I gave him one
Yeah, no.
real good punch to the solar plexus, and he was just gasping for air. And I'm like, gonna go in and beat the snot out of him at this point, and he's instantly like, no, 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 no. And my buddy who was refing's like, you give up? And he's like, yep. And so I was like, yeah, I win. And I walk into the house, and my mom's like, holy shit, what happened? Did you lose? I'm like, no, I won. And she ran outside instantly to go see how worse off my brother was. And like, if you're looking at us, I you would have thought I lost, but like he submitted.
That's brotherly shit, though.
Yeah, no, it was rough. Like that's probably the worst I've ever been roughed up in a fight, and like I think he's the only person who has ever made me like bleed boxing, because like we always fought for fun. Like I always was like, yeah, let's not swing on each other to hurt. Like hit hard enough so
Yeah.
you know the person's getting hit, and that's all you got to do. Like that's kind of how we all did it. Like nobody, there was a few kids who were dicks and would like swing on you, and you get bopped in the side of the head, and you'd be like, oh, you think you're tough, I'll bop you back. Because like I
Hmm.
was a lot bigger than a lot of my friends, so it's like I didn't want to hurt anybody. And like I don't know, sometimes when they're losing or it's like something, they get a little into it, and you'd give them a little bop back, but not enough to like no head trauma. At least I hope I didn't give anybody head trauma.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyways, thanks a lot for coming on and talking MMA. It has been a blast.
Of course, man. Absolutely.
And again, where can all my listeners find you? What's your YouTube channel there for everyone?
YouTube, Silence AVE, also on Twitter. YouTube and Twitter.
Yeah, he makes a lot of awesome videos on television topics. I really, really enjoyed his Dexter books to the show comparison and how they differ. Or well, it's not so more a comparison. You more recap the books and talked about a lot of the differences, and I really appreciated that because
Yeah, after book like 2 or 3, there was
yeah,
no more
yeah.
comparisons.
Yeah, it gets wildly different. And like I honestly like I was listening to them up until about I think 7. And then like the last one, I didn't have any money to get the audiobook, so I did not listen along before that one. But I don't know, like from the way it was described, I give me a quick rundown. Overall, did you enjoy that last book or not?
I think it was a brutal 6.5.
Okay, that's where I would kind of put it from the sounds. It's
Like maybe a 7. Like it was it didn't offend me, but it didn't I wasn't like, "Oh my god," like, "Oh, holy shit." Like, no, it was a fun for no spoilers, it was a fun buddy cop kinda cartel story.
yeah, and like it was the Rita stuff in the one before that kind of made me not want to continue. I
Yeah.
think it was that I was kind of just like, this is getting a little bit weird for me. But if you want to know what I'm talking about, go check out his videos. Anyways, thanks again for coming on, and thank you everyone for listening. Bye.